Fan rotation week 10. No, this is not going in the rotation. I'm setting a table literally to do a video with it in it shortly. So stay tuned. And I guess that's a teaser for another video after this video. And while I'm hanging out and doing stuff in the morning, yes, I watched video or vlog of the day from Jordan. I hope this is not a copyright, but go see his channel, Jordan U. Everyone knows his channel, so I know I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. So there's that. And then Eddie just got done exercising in the basement. So, but this P25, we are going to run this week. So call this week 10. We're squeezing out a week 10. Temperatures, next few days are gonna be in the 60s, but 70s by end of week, so it justifies it. The only place I'm not rotating another fan in is in the sunroom, because it's this week, I didn't even turn two fans on, and I just turned one fan on briefly. So we're gonna just cancel one out and just go down to one, which will be the thin and light that I keep in there. So let's start this up and listen to the startup sound. So this is the one that we recently got. If it looks like it has too many screws on the guard, it's because it does. When we previously owned it, the guard started to crack and they just drilled holes. Not a bad idea, but a lot of work, I guess. Or not a lot of work, but more work. We're gonna service this fan at some point. So this will show up in more videos. Yes, it has a Lasco handle on it. That's how I got it. All right, let's just move along. I'm not really rotating anything in here, but if you want to say hello to the Pro Power, you can say hello to the Pro Power. There was an air conditioner in that window, but I canceled that out a week ago. In the guest room, I normally had two fans running just for fun, really. I had a third gen in here that I explained is giving me some trouble with servicing it in terms of getting the blade off. It ran fine all week, and I really didn't use it much because I had two fans in here and I was traveling. And again, I kind of have two fans in here, one for the whole point of videoing, and secondly, it does serve a purpose because I did throw the drying racks in here since I've basically been at this location. At some point I'll have to get those out of here. But I had in here, I had the Robeson, the Frigid branded Robeson. But this fan in here, I think is very unique, and it's one of my favorite Edisons in the collection. So we kind of nicknamed this the Green Machine because it actually is green. And what I've done a separate video on this fan last year, but it's a Toastmaster, which we know Toastmaster Edison, we get it. But it's a 2-speed like a Thin N Light, not billed as a Thin N Light, not called a Thin N Light, but it has the earlier plate mounted motor versus the motor that just has the mounts, the two basically metal strips, one at the top and the bottom, like an off-white color. So this is interesting, and what is also interesting about it is I have what I call a precursor to the comfort fan with a metal bladed Edison that looks like the comfort fan, except it has this plate, it has metal blades and metal grills on both sides. And if you follow the channel, I've done a few videos on those fans because I own two of them. So in a way, I think this comes from that same era. This has metal grills on both sides. Interestingly enough, it has like the tannish off-white or white, this is really white, plastic blades. And this was popped up a few years ago on eBay, and I was like, I gotta have it. I didn't know it existed. Now, I do have in the collection, it needs help. Physically, it's like a mint shape, but motor-wise, it needs help. I have the same exact fan as this, except more of a, it's a comfort fan. It has the plastic front grille. It's green. The fan is green with like a, I think a light color plastic grille. but it has the plate back like this. I never knew that existed either. So I should imagine, much like later on, the comfort fan with the translucent blades and the Thin N Lights with the plastic or metal front grille and rear grille with the metal strip here, the mount. These two that I just described, these two green ones, were probably the predecessor to that. In my mind, they're very rare, especially if you're an Edison guy. As I said, this is a 2-speed. It is on low. You put this thing on high, it will blow the house down. See? Oops. This thing goes crazy on high. I'm sitting here, I can feel the air pulling through the room. It is actually insane. So it's only like 60 something degrees outside. I always do that with 2 speeds. Typical rattly Edison Toastmaster handle. Yeah, we love it. Right, and now let's head upstairs. So the next one I'm going to show you is a bit of a variant. Just hear that vintage sound. The next one I'm going to show you is a variant between a comfort fan. It's not a Thin N Light, is it, or is it not? So, looks like a Thin N Light, right? So, whoop-de-doo. Let me turn the light on in here. So, I had a comfort fan in here. The cool thing about the comfort fan that I had in here, it's the first time I ever really ran it. I've owned it probably for 10 years with the original box. So just my typical translucent blade. Every time I came in here, I'm just like, fan's so handsome. So I think ultimately next summer, I will keep a vintage fan over here. And then in the window behind me, keep the Dayton. So either if it's warmer, we do double duty, but if I just want to enjoy it, put the vintage one on, but not put all the work on the vintage one, so like it's not constantly running around the clock. So like if I'm not in the room and I'm doing other things, just put the Dayton on. Although I do very much enjoy that fan as well. So what's unique about this, yes, I guess this would be a Thin N Light. You can tell by the shape of the cabinet, and I have some surface rust on this. I haven't done anything with this fan, but what is unique with this one is it has a dark cabinet, which is not like this, not like kind of really common. And it has the typical tan Thin N Light blades. Now, I do have variants where I have the tan blades with, I have more of a comfort. It's like after the comfort fan, the translucent bladed comfort fan evolved. Like really what came next was kind of something in between a Thin N Light and a comfort fan. And but the motor's still mounted in the rear but it was badged Toastmaster, and then it turned over to full Toastmaster, and they removed the motor from the grill, and they went with the Toastmaster out to the end of the 90s, or not into the end of the 90s, but much into the 90s, early 90s, I should say. So that is really the deal on this. So let's crank it up. I'd probably only turn this on one time since I've owned it, or maybe when I've done the video. Ooh, stiff. Actually, it's not a rattle trap, probably because the handle's off of it, it's missing. But the comfort fan that I had up here, I couldn't tell if the motor was humming or it was the grill. The motor was not humming. It was came from over here. It's very quiet, so I'm gonna run this. All right, so now let's head outside. All right, now that we're outside, there's the P25 in there somewhere. So actually, this is part of the project this weekend, is to prune the heck out of this and cancel this tree out. I like the tree, just don't like where it is, and it's just overgrown. This whole place is overgrown. It's a disaster. All right, let's come around. Look at that. See, what I see is a white disc. You see on the camera something different, but what I think is really cool, and if you remember, I had a black Thin N Light, or a translucent bladed Thin N Light with the same metal grill. And I think it looks really cool. The front grill, it's clearly the same grill that you use in the rear, but I think it's cool how the front grill, where the motor mounts would be, or the motor mount would be if it was on the rear, frames out the hub and the blades. I just think it looks really cool, really neat. Anyway, those are the things my eyes gravitate towards. And this has an opening in the hood. Is that a screw? I don't know. I haven't had this fan part of. And then Eddie's Trash Save Galaxy. And then we have one more. Ooh, the sun's strong, which is good because it's not warm today, or breezy. And then there is the Thin N Light. So they're both on low, which is very interesting, right? So the one I just showed you around the corner is on low, and this is on low. This is much quieter. I know noise doesn't always equate to performance, but in this case it does with that green machine. On low, you could think it's on high, and I put it on high for you, and it's like, pull the house down. And then we have canceled out the second fan in there. Got the main Thin N Light that I keep in there. The patio lights are on still from last night. All right, and that's gonna be it. We're gonna do, not that this is a vlog, but we're gonna do a video on the P25 comparing to the P25. And then we're gonna head into the post office, get some eBay items out the door, go to the other location to grab a table, bagger for the riding lawnmower. Then we're gonna come back and attack the outside. And maybe there'll be some videos on that kind of stuff. So week 10, fan rotation week 10, we made it to double digits. Will there be a week 11? As of this airing, I'm sure there'll be Christmas lights up, but anyway, we did it. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. See you soon.